Next week on BBC's EastEnders, viewers can brace for intense drama as one character faces a devastating health diagnosis, leading to tension with a loved one. A shocking showdown unfolds over a surprising pregnancy revelation. Additionally, a double exit looms, with one character planning to depart for good and another facing potential imprisonment. Next week's BBC EastEnders spoilers: a shocking showdown, a double exit, and a tragic diagnosis. Fans of the BBC soap opera EastEnders should anticipate drama, surprises, and worrisome scenes next week. There are unpleasant moments with a loved one as a result of a concerning health revelation for one character that makes her worry about another character in Walford. After some significant baby news, two characters also have a confrontation. Next week, two characters on the soap opera may be leaving in different directions. One is set to depart permanently, while the other is headed to prison for a crime they did not commit. These are the main events that will take place in Albert Square this coming week. Shocking confrontation. Dramatic scenes on EastEnders are scheduled for next week in response to Nadine Keller's shocking baby news. Fans of the soap opera will remember that after his cherished wife passed away last year, Jay Brown became close to escort Nadine, who bears a strong likeness to Lola Pierce. This week, Nadine shockingly revealed that she is expecting his child, leaving Jay unsure about what to do. The repercussions of the bombshell will be aired the following week. Jay is devastated after Nadine's disclosure and says he won't run in the London Marathon, but Honey Mitchell convinces him to change his mind. Jay thoughtfully considers inviting Nadine around later in the week. But soon after, the two begin to argue over whether or not Jay is the baby's biological father. Jay is doubtful about his paternity. Nadine, who is offended, declares that the child is his before revealing yet another shocking revelation: they are having a girl. Following the shocking revelation, Jay gives her money to support her during her pregnancy and pledges to be there for her and the child. Nadine apologizes to Jay, Honey, and Callum later in the week for upsetting Lola's daughter Lexi about the pregnancy. But when Nadine realizes how serious Jay is about the baby, she is stricken with guilt. Later in the week, Jay tries to patch things up by taking Lexi and Nadine out to lunch at the Vic, but Lexi can't help but show her true feelings when she sees that a chasm is beginning to form between them. Two exits? A character who made her debut on the BBC soap opera 18 years ago may be one of two EastEnders exits scheduled for next week. Following a plot twist in which Dean Wicks was falsely accused of a crime, fresh teasers have hinted that a leave may be imminent. Furthermore, it appears that another figure connected to the plot will also be permanently removed. When the evidence seems to point to Dean as the murderer of Keanu Taylor, he will again argue his innocence next week. Although viewers are aware that Dean is not the murderer, if he is convicted of killing Keanu, he may eventually be held accountable for his true sins. Given her current plans to travel to Pakistan with her mother Shabnam Masood, his daughter Jade seems to be the other escape. Her plan has always been to move away, even though she was ill and prevented her from going for a while. However, Dean got in the way. According to spoilers, Chloe is expected to depart next week when the Slaters throw her a farewell party while her father Dean is incarcerated. The father and daughter reunite before she leaves, and he begs her to accept his version of events, that he did not kill Keanu, but will she take him at his word? Terrible diagnosis. Next week on EastEnders, there will be heartfelt scenes when a character receives a tragic diagnosis. Fans of soap operas will remember that it was only recently made public that Whitney Dean bought Britney's mother's adoption. Although Whitney and Zach hold a foster care license, Whitney was adamant that the legal process would take an excessive amount of time, so she offered to pay Britney's mother to take her off her hands. Zach Hudson, Whitney's partner, is unaware of the covert arrangement and thinks they are merely providing short-term foster care for the young child while social services looks for a more permanent home. Future scenes may reveal Whitney's secret while Britney receives a life-threatening condition. After visiting the hospital, Zach and Whitney are horrified to learn that Britney has type 2 Usher syndrome. They are even more devastated to hear from the doctor that the illness would result in hearing and vision problems. Later in the week, Zach concerns that Whitney's pregnancy may be too much for her to handle, and Whitney is upset as she tries to find out more about Britney's condition. Next week's ITV Coronation Street spoilers: body discovered, horrible twist by Roy, and sinister plot by Toya. During a dramatic and depressing week for the ITV soap opera, viewers of Coronation Street can anticipate some major scenes. A few distinct narrative points, including a sinister mystery from the past, branch off of the main plot as the Lauren Bolton storyline progresses. Spoilers expose a terrifying twist for Toya Battersby from over 20 years ago that she has never disclosed, inciting outrage from viewers. A possible body has been discovered in the woods, and a twist in the kidnapping leads to a brutal threat against Roy Cropper, who is imprisoned. Todd Grimshaw discovers something else that might spark a heated argument. Leanne Battersby is in danger as a character leaves the neighborhood and newcomer Rowan tries to put a rift between her and her loved ones. These are the main events that will transpire on the cobbles the following week. Found a dark twist and body in Toya. Viewers criticize the grim and dismal plot for Toya Battersby, which has been revealed by Coronation Street spoilers. In a contentious plot from 2001, young girl Toya was attacked and sexually assaulted. Her attacker was first kept a secret. After Corey finally exposed that a man by the name of Phil Simmons was responsible for the attack, he was sent in jail for several months. Next week, Toya will make a devastating admission, and spoilers indicate that the plot point that was supposed to have her admitting she became pregnant after being raped is, in fact, true. She will disclose in the plot that her daughter was tragically stillborn and that she buried her in a park. According to spoilers, Toya assists in finding Roy Cropper's lost dog, Freddie, as he is being charged with Lauren Bolton's murder. As searching the park, she discovers 3 sleuths who are digging up a rose bed. The 3 speculate that Roy may have buried Lauren's remains there after seeing Freddie excavating nearby. But Toya snaps and wrecks their car, admonishing them. As she starts crying uncontrollably, Nick Tilsley becomes concerned about her behavior. Toya then lashes out at an irate Sam for losing Freddie in the first place. Toya is sought out by the police in relation to the event, but she is adamant that she was justified in upholding Roy's image and discouraging the investigators from desecrating such a sacred space. Her choice of words confounds Nick, and he soon discovers her sobbing once more. At that point, Toya informs him that she gave birth to a stillborn daughter when she was 19 years old. She buried her child in the exact same spot in the park where the gang was digging while maintaining secrecy. Taking a deep breath, Toya tells Nick that Phil Simmons, her rapist, is the baby's father. It is unclear what will happen next, but spoilers hint that Toya will be in danger when the police think they have discovered a body at the park while looking for Lauren. Roy Cropper was duped into saying something. The Coronation Street cast next week, in a cruel turn of events, Roy might be tricked into confessing to Lauren's murder. Roy was only recently charged, taken into custody, and placed as the primary suspect in the alleged murder of Lauren, the adolescent who vanished. Bobby called the police to report Lauren missing, and since Roy is a lovely person, people have been suspicious of him. This is more true now since they discovered that he was cleaning Lauren's apartment without permission, which led some to believe he was guilty and was throwing away evidence. Roy's situation is only likely to worsen after he was charged with Lauren's murder on Friday night. Lauren is a missing adolescent. Sam Blakeman swears to Nina Lucas in later scenes that he would take Roy's dog, Freddie, for a walk before school. Unbeknownst to him, a detective observes from a table in the corner as Sam leaves, and when he returns later in tears, Freddie is gone and he explains that he ran off. Evelyn Plummer keeps an eye on the cafe as Nina and Toya Battersby go in search of Freddie. When they get back to the cafe, Nina, Asha, and Evelyn see a video that the internet sleuths have uploaded, frightening Roy. It shows that they have held Freddie hostage and that, in a bizarre turn of events, Roy must confess to Lauren's murder in order to ensure his safe return. Rowan goes after Leanne. Leanne and Toya Battersby of Coronation Street may be ripped apart as a result of Rowan, a newcomer, targeting them. Next week, as he seeks to entice Leanne to join his institute, the mysterious new persona forces a rift between the sisters. Leanne and Toya argue about Rowan during the show's cult storyline, and then she reports back to him. In later sequences, Rowan pushes Leanne to leave her sister behind as a sinister mystery pertaining to the character is revealed. Leanne feels deceived by both of them as Toya is preparing to tell her partner Nick Tilsley a secret about her past next week. After weeks of explaining to Leanne how his organization, the Autovalent Institute, may assist her, including activities to calm her anxieties, Rowan finally shows up and advises her to upload and let go of her negative thoughts. Rowan advises Leanne to prioritize herself even though she isn't sure. Rowan listens closely as Leanne shares all the negative experiences she's had, and he reassures her that he would be by her side no matter what. Toya, however, keeps talking about how she feels about Rowan and his ideals as he draws her in. When Leanne relays this conversation to Rowan, he advises her to cut off contact with her sister right away. But will this cause the sisters to go apart? It happens as actor Emery's Cooper hints to the plot's developments. Feud made fun of next week's Coronation Street spoilers hint at a significant revelation regarding a former character. George Shuttleworth says he's amending his will and that he wants Eileen Grimshaw to take over as his power of attorney in future scenarios. Sister Glenda Shuttleworth, who had stopped over with some laundry, overhears the talk and is outraged that Eileen has been asked over her. She rushes out. Later on, after learning that her son Todd had updated his will, a suspicious Eileen phones the Undertakers and discovers her son there, bribing George with tea and biscuits. Will George discover Todd's covert plan? Later in the week, as Todd is nosily observing, George files away a copy of his new will at the Undertakers. Shortly afterward, a curious Todd peruses George's will, only to be exposed by Eileen. Todd quickly releases the information from the will, stating that George is giving him the company. Eileen chastises Todd, saying George might reconsider if he had known he had gone behind his back. A ashamed Todd puts George's will back in the file after getting reprimanded. He then finds a copy of George's father Archie Shuttleworth's will and discreetly tucks it into his pocket. Eileen packs her final belongings and gets ready to travel to Thailand later in the week. She dumps a bombshell on George, though, saying that Todd discovered a copy of Archie's will, which specifies that his sister Glenda will inherit half of the company. Todd tries to downplay the significance of his father's will because he fears it will compromise his future while a shocked George reads it. Will George be honest with Glenda, and if he lies, may this spark a rivalry between the siblings? Character departure. Next week on the ITV soap opera Coronation Street, viewers will witness one character step away from Weatherfield. 24 years after their debut, one character on the show appears to be leaving abruptly, according to spoilers. Next week, Eileen plans her departure from Weatherfield, but she doesn't say when she will return. The plot seems to appear out of nowhere, and it's not considered a permanent exit. The character on the ITV soap opera will pack up and fly to Thailand in scenes that air next week. The intriguing new position that actress Sue Cleaver, who has been paying Eileen since 2000, is taking on off-screen, seems to be related to this. It appears that Sue's role in Sister Act, the musical, which is now on tour in the UK, is the reason Eileen is being written out of the production. Kindly subscribe to our channel.